How to combine gradients in Photoshop 220. Key panels are gradients and layers, and you can find those via the window menu. Now you've got a whole range of gradients to use, so you can create your own, of course. You can also find many on the web. Now if you want to add a new gradient layer, simply select that gradient and drag into the document. You can then go to any of the other ones and simply, again, just click on it and it will change that gradient. But if you want to add additional gradient layers, what you need to do is you can see now the layers there in the layers panel. It's just one gradient thing. And you can change that, of course, multiple times, just simply by selecting one of the other presets. But if you want to add additional ones, hover over the gradient, I'm going to go with that one, and drag, but hold down the Alt or Option key. And what happens then, instead of changing the existing one, it will create a new gradient layer. And the gradient layers can be changed at any point. They're very flexible in that way. You can go down to another one. And you'll see at the moment they're all being created as radial, even though visually they look like linear. That's because of the right side menu in the gradient. It's got a default setting. So as you hover over and drag, hold down the Alt or Option, and that will create the new layer. So if you go to that right side menu, and you see down there, linear gradient, radial gradient. That's the default at the moment. You can change it. Change it to linear gradient. That is the gradient style. Now when you create a new one, you again hover over something, just drag, Alt Option key, and now it's created as a linear gradient. And you can repeat that numerous times. Now you can go, see, you've got 4 gradient layers now. And what you can do, you can change the blending modes for those. So instead of using normal for the blending mode, you can change that to difference, etc. Also, you can double click on the gradient, any of those gradients, and change the gradient. You can change the style as well. So if you want it radial or you want it linear or angle, you can change it. You can also change the angle as well as the scale. Click OK. Again, go to another one, double click, and it will bring up the gradient fill panel. And you can change that maybe to linear, etc. and change the angle and scale, whatever you wish. And you can also interactively drag it around on the screen. But at this point, you can't see the changes because the blending mode is normal. What you need to do is change it to darken, difference. So you can run through a whole load of them. So you can create all kinds of combinations simply by changing it to overlay, difference, exclusion, darker color. And you can do that for all the ones. Obviously the bottom one, gradient fill one, you don't need to change the blending mode. You can see the blending mode, how difference there. Or you could change the opacity as well. That's another option. Or maybe make it multiply or color burn. Or lighten. And you can change those at any point. You can also still continue to change the gradient fill by double clicking on that gradient. So select a different gradient, change the angle, and so on and so on. And you can now see when you're moving around, you can see the gradient will change, the design. Once you're finished, click OK. So this is a really quick way of creating a whole range of different color effects or backgrounds, maybe overlays, and many, many other things. Maybe use it for a material, for 3D designs, up to you. And there's a whole range of different gradients, and you can continue to add additional layers by holding down the Alt or Option key and dragging. Again, you go to layers and you can see you've got the there, and you can change blending mode for that. So all kinds of quite beautiful designs. It's a lovely sort of surreal sort of skyline there, I think. Lovely blue at the top. The sort of radial effect for the sun. What you can do once you're happy with that, you can go to Layer menu and you can flatten the whole thing. You can also go to the Layers panel, select them all, and then go to the Layers menu and go to Smart Objects and convert the entire set into a smart object. You can then add effects as well as adjustments to that smart object and modify it in all kinds of ways. Another option, the gradient tool in the Tools panel. Doesn't give you flexibility. Gives you flexibility in that you can quickly, rapidly just drag across the screen. Maybe use blending mode, difference. You can add those. But that's fixed. So they're not editable at a later point. So once you've got it, that's it. And of course, you just have to go back and create something else or undo and then create it again. But the gradient fill panels, layers, make it so much easier. They can be quickly added via the Gradients panel. Super easy to use. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. Please subscribe to Graphic Extras channel, always adding new tutorials about Photoshop, Illustrator and many others. Please add some comments, a dislike or like. Thank you much.